everyone, I am now live and here to talk to you about connecting with your mission. So there's three things I was going to cover in tonight's masterclass. The first one is why it's important, why a mission and why knowing about your mission can really help. The second one is I'm going to take you through a bit of an exercise to help you to actually connect with your mission and do that in quite a deep way. And the third one is how you can then take that mission and how it can show up in your day-to-day life. So how you can take it and use it and it can influence what you do in your role, what you do on a day-to-day basis. So that's my plan for what we're going to cover this evening. The thing that, I'd encourage you to do, hopefully a few people will be joining at the moment, but I definitely... I'd encourage you to have a pen and paper with you in advance. So make sure you've got a pen and paper because it's really useful to be able to just capture some notes and capture the ideas that come up as we go along. And also, if you can, please get into a place where you're able to sit down and relax and sort of be comfortable and close your eyes. And so part of what I'm going to do with you is take you through a bit of a process, and that'll involve you closing your eyes for 10 minutes or so. And ideally, if you can do that without the fear of being interrupted, then that would be really, really useful. So if you haven't got a pen and paper and you're not in a place where you can sit down and close your eyes and you can get to one, then please do. If you can't, don't worry about it. This is still valuable. It's just that you'll get the most out of it if you're able to do that. And please excuse my puppy dog in the background having a bark. Hopefully she'll shut up in a moment. So with that covered, the other thing I'd say is if you have any questions or comments, or you've got anything that just comes up for you that you'd like to share, then please do put it in the comments below. It gives me a bit of feedback on who's listening, what they're getting from it, and it also means that I can sort of give a bit of an idea of how this has gone down, how to adapt my content in the future. And then what I'll do also is I'll come back at different periods and kind of just go through those questions or the comments and use them to take the questions and take the class in a way that works for those people that are watching. If you're watching on replay, also do add questions and comments. I'll be coming back to this and I'll be checking in with them. So I will kind of keep looking and keep on responding. So please do respond and add questions there. It may take about... I think it takes 12 seconds for these things to come through. So if you find that you've said something and I've not picked up on it, or then just give it time and I will get to it. So with that having said, I want to get going and start talking about, let's start with why is it important to know about your mission? And this is something that I've found myself talking about more and more. And I've realised that in some of the content I've been putting out, I've been referring to, when you know your mission, it's easier to turn up authentically. It's easier to choose where to focus your time so you can be more productive and have more impact. It's easier to get motivated as well. And these are all things which having your mission can really help, and having a connection with your mission can help you do. And I really just wanted to share a bit about my story. So where I was, I guess, to start with, my story of a year ago, and where I started coming across the importance of having a mission. So if I go back a year, I was sort of floundering around a bit. I wasn't sure where to go with my coaching. I was wanting to start a business and I wasn't quite sure where. And what actually happened was that I came across someone who helped me to get focused and figure out my mission. And what happened was that over the period, it was probably about 6 months, I got clearer and clearer as it went along. And that really helped me get to grips with what it was that I wanted to do and who to talk to, who to speak to, and how to step into more of a leadership role and start kind of saying what was important to me, what I believed in, and from that, and to know which fights not to pick, what things I didn't want to stand up for, what I didn't believe in, what I didn't worry about too much. And from that, it gave me the possibility of just kind of being more of a leader who's willing to speak out. So that's what started to happen to me. And I'll dip back in and to that story again as we go through this to give you some examples. So the other thing I wanted to say about finding your mission is that it's not necessarily as big as it sounds. So when I first came across this, I really thought that having a mission was a big thing. It was kind of, you define your mission and it's this massive thing that you're aiming for and it never changes. And once you've got it, it's there. And that's not what I've actually discovered. That's not what's worked for me, and I think that's not what I've seen work for a lot of other people. What I like to think of your mission as is like it's a guiding beacon, but it's something which is shifting and changing and evolving depending on what's happening for you at that time. So it's not a static thing, and the nice thing about that is that it means you don't have to get it right. You don't have to know exactly what it is at every moment. And if you're kind of now just starting to think about this, that means that in this process, in this kind of 30-minute session, you don't need to figure out exactly what it is. You just need to start it. And as things go along, you'll find that it evolves and it develops and it becomes clearer and it feels better and it feels stronger. But that's what happens, is that it's not this one big thing that you define and that's it for life. It's something which just develops as you go along. So I wanted to just put that out there, and that for me gives us permission to get it wrong. It gives us kind of, we can just play with it and see what comes up and see what feels right. And I guess that's kind of where I really wanted to start with that, is saying, well, let's just explore this a little bit. And hopefully what I now sort of take you through and introduce you to will help you to get a bit deeper and connect a bit deeper. But never get to the point where you think, oh, well, I can't do that because it's going to be a waste of time and it's going to get it wrong. So with the idea that now you're motivated and you're super excited to connect with this thing which is going to guide you and help you be more productive and help you to be more of a leader and be more authentic, let me tell you, let's start doing that exploration. Let's kind of do a bit of testing and seeing what happens. And as I said, if you've got any questions as I'm talking, please do drop them in the comments. If you've got any experience of this and what it means to you to have a mission, please let me know. It gives me a bit of an idea of who's out there and who am I talking to. So how do we start? Okay, so if you want to figure out your mission, where would you start? Now, I don't know. Some of you might be coming to this with you might already have a bit of a mission in mind. You might already have some idea of where you're going and what's important to you. So that's a fantastic start. But those are the core questions that I would start with is thinking about your life as it is now, the work that you do, the work that you've done to date. What's important to you? What would you kind of stand up for and push for? What is it that you enjoy? And that's a really important part of this. What is it that you enjoy and that you get motivated to do? What things that do you find yourself doing and time just disappears? And it's kind of interesting to think about where in your life do you have impact and do you have influence as well? How do those things come together? What I'd encourage you to do is, as I'm asking these questions, just take some notes. Think about what comes up. They don't have to make sense or join up. Just kind of note what comes out to you. So where do you enjoy things? What is it that you're really passionate about? What is it that's really important to you that if someone starts talking about, then you will kind of jump into and stick up for yourself and stick up for other people? And just allow that kind of those questions to seep through and notice what comes up and make a note of them. And get the other purpose of making notes is that it gets you out of your head and it allows space for some more ideas to come through. So just capture some notes and they don't need to be neat or anything like that. Just sort of note it down and you'll come back to them later. And what I'd encourage you to do is then pick something within all of this, something what's coming through. Pick one area and just start to think about what impact could you have from this on the lives of others. So what difference could this make to other people and to your life, to other people's lives? What change would it bring about in the world? This is an opportunity for you to think big. Don't restrict yourself. Don't kind of think, well, if it could do this, but then this will happen and this will happen, this will happen, and I'll never get there. This is if everything went right, if everything fell into place, what difference could this make to the world? What could you do that would make a change? So just to give you an example here, and this is so when I was first asked some of these questions, and I was asked what impact could I have on other people's lives, and this was at the point where I was starting coaching, and I was launching my business, and I was asked that question, and I decided I wanted to work around stress and overwhelm. I could see that the coaching understanding that I had could help business leaders with stress to be less stressed and be less overwhelmed. And so, okay, that's a great thing that those individuals could have. And then someone said, and what impact could that have on their lives? And I stepped back and I kind of went, what impact could that have beyond that stress and overwhelm? Why would they want to have less stress and overwhelm? And the thing that came through is, well, if you're less stressed and you're less overwhelmed, then you tend to be more creative. You tend to come up with more ideas. You tend to be there for others much better. You tend to connect with people more and be more collaborative. There's less fight and there's less kind of competition and much more collaboration. So if I can help people to get better at dealing with their stress and their overwhelm and their pressures of life, then the impact that could have is that they show up in their life much more and they're more creative and they connect with people around them much more. And maybe that could then have an impact on the stress and the impact on the people around them, which could have a continuous impact on people beyond that. So if I don't know if you can see what's happening here, is that I'm kind of taking it and saying, and what impact could that have? And what impact could that have? So I'd encourage you just to think about that and think, well, okay, if you could, I don't know, develop some tech that makes people's lives easier, or if you could if you're into process development and you want to hone things and make them work smoother, then what impact does that have on people's lives? How does that help other people, and how does that help them beyond that? And this isn't something that will necessarily come to you straight away. I'm putting these questions out there. This video is being recorded, so you can always come back to these questions and re-listen to them again. But also, these are sort of questions that start to kind of get into your head, and then they start to kind of come through. The answers start to emerge. And we're going to do an exercise in a moment, which is going to help those answers emerge even more. So I'm just going to allow those messages, allow those questions to seep in, and just allow those things to come up and see what comes through. And just going back to that idea that you don't need to get it right first time. So I've talked about a mission that I came up with around business people and stress and overwhelm. And that's not what my mission is right now. That mission evolved. It's like I feel like there's a potential well almost that pulls you closer the more you start looking at this. And so I started looking at it, and then that took me on a journey and took me further down, and suddenly it was like, well, actually I want to help women who are feeling stressed and overwhelmed and kind of suffering from judgment, and help them to step up and be more creative and bring diversity into that world. And so my mission actually evolved over a period of about 6 to 8 months as I kept on coming back to it. So this isn't a one-stop shop. This isn't a magic pill. This is a kind of just allow those things to come through. So hopefully by now you've got a few notes and you've got an idea of the change that you might want to see in the world, the difference that you might want to see. And so what I'm going to do is take you now into a bit of a relaxation and a process which will help you kind of uncover this a bit more. So if you're not sitting down, I'd encourage you to do so. So find a nice, ideally a comfortable seat, and get yourself just comfortable and relaxed. Put your pen and paper down, you don't need it for now. And I'd encourage you to just close your eyes. So just close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And just relax. And just be in the moment, just feel fully present with where you are, completely relaxed. Just one more deep breath. And just come present and come into the moment. And as you've got your eyes closed, I'd like you to imagine that stretching out in front of your feet, there's a line which heads off into the distance, into infinity. And this line is your timeline. This is your future spreading out in front of you. This line takes you into your future. And I want to imagine that you stand up and you can walk along this timeline. And as you walk along the timeline, it's like you're moving through the events that are going to happen and the events that are going to unfold. So as you start to kind of walk slowly forwards along this timeline, what I want you to imagine is that, what I want you to bring to mind is that difference that you want to see in the world, the change that you want to see in the world. And if that's a bit vague right now, then please don't worry about it. Just pick something to go with on this. Part of this, the first time through on this, is about getting the experience and connecting with something. It's not about getting it right, as I said. So I want you to just kind of take an idea of what change could you see in the world? What change would you love to see in the world? And I want you to float or walk slowly. Imagine yourself walking slowly along your timeline into the future to a point where this change has happened, this difference, it's been made. And I want you to kind of get to that point. You'll know where it is and stop and just be there. And then take yourself into the events that are happening as a result of this difference, as a result of the change that's been made. And I want you to just take yourself into that moment and start to look around and start to notice what's happened. Start to look and see, how do you know the difference has been made? How do you know that there's a change? What impact has it had on people's lives? How are people different now? How are people looking? What are they saying to each other? What are they doing? How are they working together? Or how are they going off and what are they doing by themselves? How are they interacting? And I want you to have a look around and see who's there that you recognise and who's not there. Who are the people that are around you, if there are any at all? What are they saying? What are you hearing? Maybe you're on your own and you can hear like the birds singing and be in the countryside, or maybe there's all sorts of noises that could exist. What is it that you can hear around you? Maybe it's someone saying congratulations or well done, or isn't this amazing and exciting? Look what we've achieved. What's going on for you in the background there? And I want you to start to connect with the feelings. How do you feel knowing that this has happened? Is there a sense of achievement, of pride, of excitement, of what's going to happen next? Anticipation? What are those feelings and how do they feel in your body? Just stay there and absorb them, feel them, connect with them. And I want you to now just think about, so you're in one scenario, but are there other scenarios that you could take yourself to in this time? You've got a magic kind of ability with this timeline to take you to any position at this time. So maybe things are rippling around the world. Maybe there's other people in other places. Take yourself to them now and just see, well, what's there? What are people saying? What are they doing? What's happening? And enjoy it. Have fun. Connect with it. Feel it. Feel how it feels. This is what's going to connect you to your mission. And I'm going to give you a little bit of time to just allow the silence to envelop you and just really be in this moment, connected with the difference and the change that you're seeing in the world. And as you kind of take a look around, what I want you to do is just to almost reach out and bring this all to you. Bring the feelings, wrap it all up and take it into your unconscious mind. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to remember any of this. What you're doing is taking it inside you and connecting with it, taking it deep inside you. Knowing that as it needs to, these things will come out. There's things that you will have seen in this that you've not consciously seen. They'll just be there and they'll bubble up. So just absorb it. Absorb the feeling, absorb the ideas that have come. And I want you to turn around and look back along your timeline now. Look back towards now. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk again slowly back down your timeline, back to now, back from the future to now. And I want you to drift. And as you drift and walk slowly back there, what you're going to do is notice things that have happened along the way, things that led to this event, to this change occurring. Notice anything that feels like, oh, well, this clearly happened in order to have that. Or maybe this happened. And just absorb them into this whole thing. This is your kind of the stepping stones along the way. And again, this doesn't need to be conscious. This is an unconscious process. So you don't need to actually register them and connect with them in the sense of being able to write them down or list them out. You just need to kind of notice and absorb and see and keep going, keep drifting. And keep on drifting and keep on walking and slowly come back to now. And as you get back to your body, sitting there, turn back round, sit down and connect back with yourself. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. But just enjoy that moment of connection, knowing that you are now connected to that future where this difference happens, this difference is made. That is a possibility. And I want you to just to now slowly open your eyes. And as you open your eyes, I want you to pick up your pen and paper and I want you to start writing. Write what came to you. Write what's coming out. Write anything that comes to mind. There's no kind of, you don't have to get it exactly again. This is just notes. Just push it down, absorb it, and get it down, get it out of your head and allow space for the other ideas to come through. I'm just going to give you some time to keep on writing, get everything out. And as these things come out again, no, apologies for the dog again, know that this doesn't have to be perfect. This is exactly how it is. This is exactly right for this moment. And so this is what I'm going to call for now. This is what I'm going to call your mission. This thing that you're writing down, this thing that you've connected with. Now, what I tend to now do with clients and in my mentorship program is take these group of ideas and look at them from different angles. There are other methods that we can use to explore this, to really kind of get all the ideas out there and just give the opportunity to get the ideas out and so you can see them and so you can start to pick the ones that you want. But clearly I don't have the time to do that, and that's part of what we do in week one of my mentorship program. It's part of what I do in a 1 hour kind of coaching session. But there's also something here about time, and this is what I've said, that don't expect it all to come out at once. Take this away. What you can do that's really useful is to get what comes out and then take it away and sleep on it and see what comes up to you in the morning and see what comes up to you when you're at work. Just know that this is something that you have. Know that it's something that you can connect with. And so what I'd encourage you to do is to take these ideas, take them and maybe revisit them every day. Ask again, come back to what's important to me. What's important to me right now? What am I enjoying right now? What is it that what impact can this have on the world? What difference can I make? And as you go through that each day or each week and keep on revisiting, and what you'll find is this comes together and this comes through. And of course you can come and watch this video again and you can skip to the timeline bit and just do that if you want. So this will be here for you in the group whenever you want. So this is what I'm going to call your mission for now. And this is your mission. And what the other thing I was going to say is that what tends to happen is that once we've got all that information out there, what we'll tend to do is go through and pull out the things that really jump out to us. The things that highlight the things that really resonate, because these are the core things. These are the ones that really kind of come through. So that's the next thing that you can do and how you can get to your mission. But if we take this, what you've got so far, this connection, and the fact that this is a kind of a feeling connection, a connection of that difference you can make, that's enough for now. That will guide you. And I'm going to encourage you now to take that and talk about how you can take that into your world, how that can actually start to come through. And so what I encourage you to do is to start with just to look at what you do, what you're already doing on a day-to-day basis that aligns with this mission, with the things the difference that you want to see. What activities can contribute to this? So for example, if you take your job and your role, you might want to have a look at the things that the roles and responsibilities that you have in that role, and take a look at which ones align, which of your objectives fit with that. And that gives you a clue that these are the things that you might want to focus on more. These are the things that you will be doing for you as well as for the job. So these are the ones which are naturally going to come out, and you might find that those things that do naturally already come out quite well. And then what I'd encourage you to do is also start to notice other things within your role, outside of your role, other jobs that people are doing, opportunities that might be there that give you a chance to expand on this. So what are other people, what roles are there in their company, what are colleagues doing that you could talk to that is directly related to this mission? What is it that they're doing? And go out and be curious. You don't need to ask them to help you necessarily, but just go and ask them some questions and show that you're interested, show that you've got a passion. And those people who also have a passion, you'll find will connect with you and will start to kind of encourage you as well. And that's not just relevant within your company where you work, that's also relevant in your network more broadly. And what I've often found when working with people is that when they start going out and talking to their network about these things, that actually their network starts to notice too. Sorry. So their network starts to listen to them and starts to see that they're passionate. And the number of people that I know whose jobs have just naturally changed by them going out and starting to talk about this. They've had job offers or their roles have moved within the company just by kind of getting out there and talking about it and starting to focus on it and starting to notice that this is the thing that they want to do. So there's no pressure here to go out and take massive action. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is just going out and being curious and saying, well, how might this fit better in my world? What can I do that aligns better with my mission? And seeing what happens. And the other thing that I also bring in here is that this might not necessarily, for some people, this might not be something which can make them money. So it might not be a job. It might be that your job is the thing which makes you the money, which allows you to go off and fulfill your mission. And so that's the other thing that's very important to know, is that it doesn't have to be part of your job. If you know that that's what your job is there for, to give you the money to do it, then that makes your job, it gives you an indication of what you want to do and how to focus. So if you've got any questions, if anything's coming up, then please do drop them in below again. I'm just going to take a swig of water. And so the thing that I wanted to do is just come back to my experiences of this. And I've got two examples here that I thought would be useful to build on. One is where I didn't connect with my mission and what the impact of that was looking back. And in that case, so the example I want to talk about is when I first, when I was working at Digital Creativity Labs. And that's my fairly recent job that I was doing. And when I went into that role, the thing that got me really excited about that role was all about getting industry and academia collaborating and working together and seeing the new innovation coming through, seeing how getting people in a room together and seeing the ideas spark. That was what got me excited. And so that's why I went into that role. But I didn't really connect with that in the way that I needed to. I kind of got lost and I forgot about it. And what happened was that I got caught up in trying to fix the processes of the university so that when these innovative ideas came through, there was a structure in place that allowed them to go somewhere. So it kind of almost skipped beyond it. But I thought that needed to be in place and I needed to know how that worked in order to make this happen. And what happened as a result of that is that I got more and more caught up in changing the processes of the university, dealing with the politics of departments and negotiating things here and there. And that's not what I enjoy doing. And so I felt more and more just disheartened about what was going on. And what's really interesting is that now I look back, the other part of the role was there. It needed me to get out and do the kind of the workshops and the collaboration and get people talking together. And I was doing it a bit. But because it was kind of the thing I enjoyed, I put it on the back burner because it was too good. It was like a reward. I had to get everything else sorted first before I did that. But now if I look back and think, well, hang on, if I'd have kind of connected with that and seen that as my mission, the thing that I wanted to achieve in the world, then what difference would that have made? Well, actually, I would have kind of gotten and not done so much, not worried so much about the processes. I would have focused on getting people working together more. And I would have been buzzing a lot more, would have enjoyed the role a lot more. And who knows where that might have gone. So that's one example that I wanted to give, which is when I didn't connect with my mission. But the other one I want to give is actually, if I go back even further, and I go back to sort of 15 years ago when I first started coaching and first started investing in coaching. Actually there I have been connected with a mission to some extent. I've always enjoyed working with and developing people and helping people to grow and to coach them. And so as I invested in that, and as I started bringing it into something that I recognised that I enjoyed, actually my role started to change. And I started to manage more people. And I started to see that was something that I wanted within my job. So when my team grew to 30 people, and I actually had a choice of going off in one direction, which was much more sales oriented, and a choice of going and managing people. And I chose the managing people because I knew that's what I was motivated by, and that's what my mission connected me to. So I did that, and I gained lots of experience on the job of coaching and developing people. But I always knew in the background I wanted to go off and do this by myself. I wanted a job where it was my job to be a coach. And it's only recently that's come through and been my role since I set up my own business. But I think that's a really good example of how it's kind of been there in the background, and it's been part of my role pretty much all the way through for that 15 years. And it's only now when I can sort of say that is my role, that's my full-time role. And of course I could have gone for a job as a coach in an organisation and had the title there, but there are lots of opportunities and options that are there. And the thing that kept on coming back is, well, what's motivating me? Well, it's the development of people, and how do I enjoy that? So hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea about how you can take your mission once you have it and take it into your role, and that it doesn't need to be that suddenly your role is completely taken over by your mission. It doesn't need to be that your role completely aligns. All you're looking for is for there to be some activities, some things that are happening within your life that align to your mission, and start to recognise them and grow them and notice them and see how they develop. And when you start putting that attention on them and know that that's what you want to do, you will find that opportunities appear and emerge. So again, as I said, any questions, please stick them below. I'm happy to answer them, and I'm happy to stick around at the end of this to talk you through. And I will be dropping back in again to check on what's come up for anyone watching this on replay. The thing that I now wanted to come back to, so what I'd love you to do, if you fancy it, off the back of this, and what I'd love to help you with is how to hone that mission further. So if what's come out of this, you feel comfortable pulling it together into a bit of a structure, maybe over the period of the next couple of weeks, there's no time limit on this, but if you get to the point where you want some feedback on this and you've got something there but you're not sure where to take it next, then please do come back and post it in the group, either as a comment below or as a main post in the group, and put hashtag feedback on there, and I will be looking for it, and tag me. That's probably the best thing to do. Tag me in it and ask for feedback, and I will look through that and give you some direct feedback. So if that's something, you've taken some exciting things from this, and you're starting to feel stuff coming through, and you want to go away and work on it and see how it develops and evolves, and then you pull something together that you want to communicate, then please do drop it in the group, and I'll happily kind of give you some feedback on that. The other thing I would like to say is that if you want to take this deeper, as I've said, as part of my mentorship program, This is the thing we look at in the first week. So we do this exercise, but we also do a number of other exercises throughout the week, which helps to kind of bring this out and really kind of get all the ideas out there, and then focus back in and figure out how to pull it all together. And that focusing back in actually lasts for the period of pretty much the at least the first four weeks, maybe a little bit longer. So it's a kind of going out and then allowing it to settle and become clearer and clearer. So that's, if you're interested in going deeper and kind of honing it down and needing support to do that, then my mentorship program actually kicks off a week on Monday, so the 14th of September, and it is £195. There are 6 places left at the moment, so there's only 12 people on there. If you're interested, then do DM me. And the other option is that you're always welcome to drop me a line and have a one-to-one session with me, because this is essentially part of my Reboot Your Career session as well. So this is the thing I start with everything, getting connected with your mission. As I've said, it just seems to underpin everything that then comes out. So this is why I start with it. So if you're interested in either of them, please do DM me. And I don't think I had any questions at all, so I'm not going to answer any, but if you do have any, please stick them below and I'll come back to them. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been useful for you, and I'd love to hear what you think, so please do drop me a line, and I'll see you soon. See you later.